Hi, my name is Yazan Ibrahim, also known as Yazan Abu Ghosh. Today we will talk about Chapter 3, Part A, Information Systems 3.8 Post-Implementation Review. Let's dive into the concept of a post-implementation review, PIR, and weave it into a dynamic, engaging narrative for an educational video. Imagine this as a story about the life cycle of a project that doesn't end at delivery, but instead continues to unfold, teaching us lessons, improving our systems, and helping businesses grow. We'll examine how and why organizations should reflect on their projects, ensuring they deliver on their promises while paving the way for future success. Picture this: you've just wrapped up a big project. After months of hard work, the system is live, the team is celebrating, and the users are interacting with the shiny new solution. It feels like you've crossed the finish line, but have you? In reality, the project story isn't over yet. The most important chapter is still to come: the post-implementation review. The post-implementation review isn't just another box to tick. It's an essential process that holds the potential to transform a good project into a great one. Think of it as a rearview mirror combined with a telescope. It lets you look back at how the project performed, while also offering insights into a clearer, more efficient future. Why is this review so crucial? Let's break it down. When the dust settles after a project's completion, often weeks or months later, that's when the real picture becomes visible. Both the benefits championed during the planning stages and the system's shortcomings come into focus. This time gap is important because teams can now evaluate how the solution performs in a live business environment and identify lessons for future initiatives. Closing the chapter, formal project closure. Before diving into the review itself, let's talk about project closure, an equally critical stage in the process. This is where the project is formally closed out. More than just announcing we're done, closure ensures everyone is aligned on outcomes, resources are released, and all important documentation is archived for reference. It's also about accuracy, documenting how closely the project aligned with its original objectives, costs, and timelines. If priorities shifted mid-project or expectations weren't met, these details need to be acknowledged. But closure doesn't stop at signing off deliverables. It serves as a jumping-off point for the PIR. One key question here is, did we actually achieve what we set out to do? This is where the hard data, like performance metrics, cost-benefit analysis, and ROI, becomes vital. Key lessons, both triumphs and missteps, are documented to help ensure the next project won't stumble over the same challenges. The role of post-implementation review. Now let's shift gears and explore the post-implementation review itself. Think of this as a roadmap, a way to assess the project's tangible impact and determine whether it lived up to its promises. The PIR isn't just about the numbers, it's about understanding the system's meaningful contribution to the business, from user satisfaction to operational improvements. For example, the PIR begins by examining the adequacy of the system. Does the new system meet its core goals? Does it align with the organization's business objectives and user requirements? A robust PIR asks hard questions. Were the right controls baked into the system's design? Are these controls operating as intended? If things didn't go as planned, what recommendations will address any deficiencies or gaps in functionality? From numbers to insights, exploring ROI and effectiveness. But let's not stop there. A PIR doesn't just focus on immediate outcomes, it zooms out to see the big picture. For instance, the review considers whether the benefits projected at the beginning, like cost savings, automation, or improved efficiency, have been delivered. Are these benefits measurable and, more importantly, worth the investment? Imagine a situation where a team projected that a software upgrade would save 500 employee hours per quarter. Did it happen? If not, why? Timing matters too. Many organizations schedule the PIR after the system has been live long enough to gauge its true impact. Business cycles must unfold before data can accurately reveal the return on investment. For example, think of a system designed to reduce customer complaints. Until enough time has passed to measure customer satisfaction trends, it's difficult to determine whether the solution worked. What makes a good PIR? A thorough post-implementation review is like a medical checkup for your project. It examines both the technical and human sides. Was the development methodology appropriate? Did the team communicate effectively internally and with stakeholders? These process-related elements often offer vital lessons for future projects. Yet not all PIRs are created equal. To get value out of the review, organizations should plan for it from the project's earliest stages. That's where checkpoints come in. During execution, project managers can set up metrics to track the effectiveness of each stage. For instance, measuring how accurately estimates of cost or time align with outcomes. Collecting this data as the project evolves makes the PIR more insightful and actionable. The two-pronged review, internal versus external. Here's where things get interesting. A post-implementation review can take different forms based on who performs it. Internally, the review should pair the development team with end users. Together, they evaluate not only the project processes, but also the system's ability to generate value. This pairing fosters a balance between technical insight and first-hand user experience. Alternatively, an independent group, such as an internal or external auditor, could conduct the review. This impartial approach is particularly helpful for identifying control issues or ensuring compliance. Auditors focus less on the system's overall success and more on its integrity. For example, an IS auditor will check whether controls are performing smoothly or analyze logs for consistent errors that may signal unforeseen risks. The IS auditor's role. Speaking of IS auditors, their role during a post-implementation review is noteworthy because it reduces potential biases. Picture this: an auditor stepping in with a magnifying glass, inspecting the system to ensure it's achieving its objectives. They explore questions such as, are users reporting satisfaction? Are error rates higher than expected? Is the system being used as intended, or is there confusion about its features? Auditors also dive into the logs and change requests. If significant modifications have been requested post-go live, that could hint at flaws in the original design or user misunderstandings. Reviews of these changes allow teams to create better requirements for future projects. Finally, auditors assess controls, those security fences that keep data safe, workflows efficient, and risks manageable. For example, if the system includes built-in controls for financial transactions, auditors will test their effectiveness to prevent errors or fraud. Final lessons learned. So where does all of this leave us? The post-implementation review is like that quiet moment after a storm, where you survey the landscape and decide how to rebuild stronger. It's not just about pointing out what went wrong, but recognizing everything that went right. The stories hidden in those reports and discussions become the foundation for smarter, faster, and more impactful projects. The beauty of a peer is that it becomes a teacher, not just for the project at hand, but for every future project. Over time, these lessons help organizations refine their approach, boost ROI, and build systems that users not only need, but love to use. With every review, the roadmap to success gets clearer. As you move forward, remember, every great project doesn't just end, it evolves into something greater through learning and reflection. That's the power of the post-implementation review. Through this script, we've not only unraveled how post-implementation reviews work, but also celebrated the value of improvement and iteration. By understanding and applying these ideas, organizations can maximize the potential of their projects today and tomorrow. Thank you for watching, and as always, continue learning. Stay curious, and we'll see you next video.